I'm gonna start with the texture 2. Let's see what we can find. Maybe this. -4 from A sharp. It's F sharp. It's got too much high end. I need something to fill up these gaps. That could be cool to fill up the gaps. Put some effects. What does this sound like pitched down an octave? I fuck with that. Kind of want that tone, but just more brightness. Like that. There we go. Kind of sounds like a car engine. Kind of like it down like that. That's pretty much it for this one. This is how I stem out the loops. Just leave a 4-bar gap in between each sound. That way any sound that has like reverb or delay on it gets to play out. If you rendered audio clips earlier and you chopped the tail, make sure to stretch them out like that. And then I highlight it all, copy, I cut remainder. Or no, I do Command Option C, not copy. Cut remainder, enable all of this shit. I don't enable Master Effects because I don't put anything on the master. Do a breakdown. You want me to break it down? I can do that. I can just kind of walk you guys through like the thought process, I guess. There wasn't too much going on in this one. Simple but effective type of loop. To start, we started with this texture, right? Actually, let me take off this. We pitched it down 4. Sounds like that, and then we ran it through all these effects. Not too much, just a little filter, EQ. Magic Switch is like a chorus plugin, makes shit wider and a little detuned, and then just a little bit of reverb, giving it a tail to kind of run into the little gaps. And that's what we started with. I knew pitching it down 4 put us in F sharp minor, so then we went in to this piano right here. I just made a simple little chord progression, nothing crazy, and then I added some notes to kind of fill up the empty space, or like kind of give it more bounce. That way it wasn't just chords. We strummed a little bit of it. Everything over here is just copy and paste of this, except for this note. This G sharp, we moved it down to an E over here. But this is another F sharp minor 7. Yeah, because this E right here, and then F sharp minor 7, add 9 actually, because we put this G sharp, which is the 9th of this chord. Same thing over here. So yeah, that was the piano. Without effects, it sounded like this. And then with effects, we ran it through sound shifter, pitching it up 12, and then deja vu, which is halftime. It's basically halftime, which pitches it back down. I don't know why I did that. I kind of gives it some texture if you can like really hear it. Pitching it up and then having it pitched back down creates some like digital artifacts. EQ, little weird EQ. I put this down because there was a little bit of harsh frequencies, and then I raised this up because I wanted higher frequencies in this sound specifically. And then a little plate, which is just a reverb, but it's not very much. It's not as much as the Roam reverb plugin. And now it sounds like this. Kind of sounds very roomy. Puts it like in a whole different area of like the sound frequency spectrum, I guess. I don't know how to really explain that, but it definitely sounds, that sounds different from this, and it just makes sense. So we rendered that out to this audio clip right here. We got this little atmosphere next, which was just something from Splice. It's kind of like a riser for this little gap of sound that we have every other bar. This isn't going through much effects. Only little preset that I have on Effect Rack by Soundtoys. It's my perk punch, some distortion with decapitator, a little bit of a amp mixer, Echo Boy, which is kind of like a crazy mix of reverb and delay, and then microshift, which is like another chorus. Sounds dry like that, and then with everything else it kind of just sounds like real gritty, and it gives it some more space with the reverb. Again, just building suspense before this little space that we have in between these bars with the chords and the textures. After that, I wanted to fill up the space, so the last thing I added was this synth. These are just 2 notes that I found that were in the key that kind of made sense. And then I just repeated them over here. So after this all plays, we have this one sound playing to fill up the gap. And I think it's kind of cool because everything's super busy right here. It all falls out right here for like half a bar. And then the last 2 bars is just this, like, again, another kind of riser suspense building thing back before we get into all the busy shit. The sound is going through an Effect Rack thing that I created in a beefy drum room. I took off the chorus, but we've got Decapitator, which creates that grittiness, that digital distortion, and then we've got Filter Freak, which I don't really know what this does. I found this preset and I kind of just vibed with it. I know it makes like the filter kind of wobble or whatever. I don't know how to really explain it, but the texture that you get from it is cool, and that's why I saved it in this little preset. So we ran it through that, and then we pitched it down a whole 12 semitones, a whole octave, and then just I cut out most of the low because without this EQ it's very like woofy, and then with it I added a lot more of the higher frequencies back, which is what I want. And then of course just this bass filling up the low end, nice and deep bass. Pretty simple stuff, but all of that together gets you this, and pitched down to. There you go, chat. That's a dark textured loop, sample, whatever you want to call it. Pretty simple stuff, man.